Hi there, I'm Angela, and today we're going to look at a lot of patterns. Stick around. Welcome to Just Me and My Fabric, or welcome back. And I want to give a special warm welcome to any new viewers out there. I know there have been a few recently. I'm so happy that you're here. And today I have a question for all of you. How many of you get to sew for your man, or maybe your son, or any other guy in your life? That's something that I never really get the opportunity to do. Even though I am married to a man, the very best man, I love my husband, but I really don't get much opportunity to sew for him other than the occasional patching or mending, or maybe doing some alterations like lengthening or shortening or fixing a backpack. There's really not too many times when I get the opportunity to just sew a garment for him. And I think that's something that would be fun and kind of like a whole new world, just because it's like a whole set of patterns that I never really even look at, just because I don't really have like that opportunity in my life to make any of those patterns. So today I thought it might be fun to actually look at some guy patterns and kind of pick out a few that look like they might be fun to sew. So we are going to do that, but before we get to that, I'd like to show you a pattern haul. So I kind of did two separate pattern hauls recently. One, I did take advantage of the recent, I guess it was just this past weekend, McCall's $1.99 sale at Joann's, and I just got two patterns, just two. So I was pretty good. And these were two I had kind of been looking at but wasn't sure, so finally just went ahead and did it. So I'll show you those. But maybe like the more interesting thing was I did another vintage pattern haul from Etsy. So let's take a look at those now. So for the McCall's sale, I did do M8252 and 8253. So these are from their, I guess, their newest collection. So probably trying to see if I can get that centered for you guys. Probably patterns that you've seen before. And these are cute little springtime / summertime dresses, and I'll show you specifically what I liked about each one of them. So looking at 8252, what I really liked was this view here. That's view C, or I kind of like view A as well. And I'm not too much into the whole puffy sleeve thing, even though that's really cute and that dress looks adorable on her. I don't feel like it would be me per se, but I definitely could see doing either one of these two. So looking at 8253, now this pattern is kind of a little bit more like on the risque side for me. But what I could see myself making and do plan to make at some point is view C. I don't know that I'd be real comfortable doing doing A or B with the ruching. I guess that's ruching there at the front center of the belly, but I definitely could do view C. Just shows a little bit of belly, not too much. I think I could be on board with that. Now for the vintage patterns. I'm going to start off with a simplicity one, and I apologize, I did not write down the year that each one of these was printed, and in order to keep this video a little bit on like the not too long side, I won't spend a whole lot of time looking at the cover for it. We'll just kind of try to move right along through these. So, and I do have kind of a special call out as I get started on these vintage ones. So this is what kicked off the whole vintage rabbit trail. It's Simplicity 2261. And what got me on this one was the skirt, view E, right there. And I'll bring you in for a little bit of a close-up. And I have to say that I'd seen this pattern before, but never really gave it too much thought until I saw a video from Terry. I'm calling you out, Terry, Virginia's daughter, and I will definitely put a link to her video here. She had a recent video where she made this skirt, and it was so cute. It turned out so good. It was so stylish, and it had pockets. How good is that? So yeah, that kind of, and I let her know, like as soon as I watched her video, I gotta have a skirt like that. Otherwise, I probably never would have given this pattern maybe even a second thought. There's not too anything that really stands out too much about it, but seeing her in her made skirt from this pattern, oh, it totally hooked me. So I searched out this pattern and I got it. And while I was on Etsy at this particular seller's shop on Etsy, of course, I tried to find some more patterns so I could take advantage of the free shipping. And so that kind of led me down the whole rabbit hole on this particular seller's Etsy shop. So I'll show you what else I added to my cart and got. So I ended up putting 4 more patterns from this seller into my cart just so I could get the free shipping, and I'll show you what those are. So this one is Quick Sew 2875, and what I loved about it was this little top here. And I would almost call it kind of, it's kind of like a jacket, but not heavy like a jacket. Maybe you would call it a topper. So it fastens at the front center neck there, and it does have a little hood. I'll show you the line drawings. Can you see those? Let's see. Yeah, it looks kind of simple, but I wear a lot of toppers, and I could definitely see myself getting a lot of wear out of that one. So I went ahead and got that. And the next one that I picked up was Simplicity 4699. This is one of those patterns that has like one of everything, meant to be like a whole little capsule or mini wardrobe type of pattern, even including the bag. So I liked that just for all around wear, but I think what I especially liked about it is the pants. And like I mentioned, in order to keep this video from becoming too terribly long, because we still have to look at the guy patterns, which is kind of the big draw, I won't go into too much detail about what kind of fabrics and things like that. If you guys have questions and want specific details about any specific pattern, please leave it in the comments and I'll be very happy to provide what information I can. The next pattern is Simplicity 9411, and this is a bunch of similar yet a little bit different tops. These all look very easy wearing and easy to make. So that's kind of what drew me to this. And I'm coming to realize, I'll show you the line drawings, that I need a bunch of, I say a bunch, I need a few tops in my spring wardrobe. So this pattern has short sleeve, long sleeve, and I'm pretty sure like the fabrics, they run the gamut from stretch wovens to linens to gingham, silks, rayons. This is an all-around good top pattern. So I hope to make at least one of those this year. And let's see how we're doing. Yeah, so that was 4. And then the 5th pattern, there was a little bit of a snafu. So what I ordered was, and what was on the listing was Butterick 5584. Cute little 90s dresses. I love these, you guys. If you've watched my channel, you know that I love the 90s. I love that whole decade. I love the 90s clothes, 90s patterns, 90s music, everything. So I ordered this one, Butterick 5584. But what showed up, now this is interesting, was Butterick 5584. Now, I know that pattern companies do kind of recycle their numbers and reuse them as they go through the iterations. So this got me to really thinking. So I did email, I messaged the seller and said, hey, I did get Butterick 5584, but this is the one that was in your listing, and that's what I wanted, but what I got was this one. And he was responsive, and I still do need to leave good feedback for him. He realized the mistake, like on the listing, and as opposed to what he sent, and he sent the new pattern, the one that I wanted out, like the very same week. So I received it like probably within 5 days, I got the right one. So I'm going to definitely leave good feedback for him. He told me to go ahead and keep this one, use it, pass it on to someone else, donate it, whatever. So great customer service. And maybe I'll even leave a link to his Etsy shop in the description box below, just because he has a lot of patterns for sale. And I know all of you guys are sewists, and you might be able to find something you like there. But mostly just kind of to do him like a good favor for being so responsive and kind, like goodwill towards his customers, good sellership. I don't know, like good sportsmanship. I don't know what the right word is, but it was so nice that he just immediately made it right, no questions. So now I have two Butterick 5584s. So with this one, I thought it might be interesting to take a look at the dates. So the one that I wanted, the 90s dress pattern, this one was published in 1998. And the other Butterick 5584, also a dress and kind of like a little long cardigan / topper there. I'll show you this one's interesting, so I'll show you the line drawings on that just because it's kind of unusual. This one was published in 1987. So Butterick 5584 from 1987, Butterick 5584 from 98. What is that, 12 years difference? Yeah, so I really was surprised that they would reuse the same number so quickly. Like, that's not even 2 decades. And you think sewing patterns have been, from the Big Four at least, in production for decades, like multiple decades, since the 20s, 30s. I would think it would take them a little longer before they would recycle the same number. So yeah, I thought that was, I had to do like a double take and like look at these pattern numbers together, 5584. Yeah, just to make sure that I could see very easily how the seller kind of mixed these two up, and I was totally fine with him either like refunding me, but he was able to send me, the one that I wanted. So very happy about that. So that is my pattern haul. And now let's look at the guy patterns, because that'll be a first for the channel. I've never really shown any guy patterns just because I've never really looked at any of them like in depth, like seriously. And it was kind of like a different kind of rabbit hole. Like, I go down these rabbit holes of looking at new and vintage patterns pretty frequently. But this was like the first to go down a rabbit hole looking at patterns to make for guys. So it was a lot of fun. And some of these are Big Four. Well, okay, let me narrow it down. So I only ended up choosing I think just 4 patterns, because there were so many. And knowing I had all these other patterns to share with you guys and to keep this quick, I narrowed it down to, I think, 4. And one of them is a Big Four, and the other ones are indie patterns. And I have to say that from the very limited like digging that I did, the pattern company called Thread Theory seemed to have like maybe the most and the best patterns for guys. So let's take a look.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the patterns for men that I've picked out. And the first one is Vogue 8940. This is a double-breasted pea coat and pants. And mostly I like this one for the coat. Let's take a look at some of Okay, so this is the pattern cover. So it's like a longer and a shorter peacoat. I love this. I love this so much. I feel like this would be a very much a sewing challenge for me that I would be up for, but I would just have to be in that frame of mind to tackle a project of this kind of scope. Yeah, so I flipped through some of the pictures here. I like this. And here is the shorter version, and I believe that I really like this longer version the best. Not necessarily in this like camel color fabric, although I do like that, but I think this would look good really in a charcoal gray or a navy blue. Yeah, so I like that. The second pattern that I found is a zip-up sweater. I love this, and I think what drew me to this is I could see my husband actually wearing something like this. This seems like kind of his style, and it looks like this is sort of a color blocked, although you could use the same color for all the top and the bottom portion of this. It has pockets, it has the little top zip there, and it looks like it does have come with a hood option, but I don't know if it only, like you can only do the hood. Like here, it doesn't look like he has a hood on this one. And this nice little chunky fleece, I love that. Yeah, I don't think that this one has a hood, so I guess you get, yeah, that definitely doesn't have a hood. And apologies, this one is by Wardrobe by Me. I'm not too familiar with their patterns. Looks like that one that this man is wearing does have the hood there. I like this a lot. I think this would be pretty simple to make, and I think it's something that I could see like my husband actually wearing quite a bit. So that maybe that's what drew my eye to it, or maybe it could be like this nice color blocking here. I really, really like this. The third one is by Thread Theory. And as I mentioned earlier, I found that Thread Theory seems to have, at least from the digging that I did and the looking around, the most patterns for men that I could find, even including the big four. Or, don't quote me on that, but it seemed like they had a lot of guys' patterns. And I love these cargo pants. They're called the Jutland pants. And these look like very workaday pants. I like these a lot. Here's some of the variations. This variation looks like it's a little dressier based on the fabric. And then there's also this welt pocket. I'm not sure if these other ones, no, this had a patch pocket. Maybe I'll have to actually read the description on this one. Here we go. So it comes with variation 1, which has the welt pocket, and then variation 2, which is more of a cargo style with the side cargo pockets, and then the patch pockets. So yeah, you could dress these up or make them more into a working cargo style pant. Love those. And then the fourth pattern that I found that I really liked was this overalls. It's by Jay Lee, and it's called Blind Winter Overalls. These look like some serious sporting outfits here. Like you could go skiing or something in this, and maybe that's like what these shoes are that this guy's wearing. I've never been skiing, so I'm not sure if that's what these kind of shoes are. So these are 2001 classic snow pants. So they are specifically geared towards working or playing in the snow. Yeah, so they're lined, and you can also make them with or without interlining. Yeah, because they almost look puffy, like they are like a serious lined, like insulated. I guess that's the word I'm looking for, insulated garment.
And last but not least, it looks like I am going to be able to do a second project for April. As I've mentioned before, I'm kind of like a slow sewist, and that's not just because I'm like slow. It's because I've got a lot of other things going on in my life, such as my family, my job, my home, not to mention my vegetable garden, which in our zone, our USDA zone, the months of April and May are by far the busiest times in a vegetable gardener's life. So, especially given that, I'm lucky to get like 2 projects done every month. And I am finishing up my jacket that I'm doing in collaboration with Pam from at Made by Pam. And I know you guys are all familiar with that. And my on my project plan was if I finished that and I still had like some time left in April, I would go ahead and start a second project. So I'm going to be able to do that. So that's really nice. And rather than kind of go through all that over again with you, because I did show it a couple of weeks ago on my April sewing plans video, I'll just kind of insert a little clip here to show you about that. Plus, I can't show you the fabric anyway because it's in the dryer. I hadn't pre-washed it yet, so it got in the washer today and now it's in the dryer. But at the time that I showed you guys that initial like plan for that project, I kind of had it. I knew I wanted to work with that particular fabric, but I hadn't narrowed the pattern down yet, and I had it narrowed down to 3. So I have gone ahead and narrowed it down to just the exact pattern. So once I show you the clip, it's just kind of a repeat from my April sewing plans video. Give that a look, and then I'll show you which one of those 3 that I ended up choosing. A while back, I bought this cute poplin print, and it's a sort of a pale yellow, and it has dogs all over it. Ah, I love it so much. I got it from Mood Fabrics. So I'm going to make a sleeveless top, and I've got it kind of narrowed down to one of 3 patterns. Now, I've not made any of these patterns before, and 2 of them are actually quite similar. So I'll start out with this new look. This is 6414, and what I'm thinking is view A. Right there, yep. Then the other 2 patterns, one is a new look and one's a quick sew, and these are very, very similar, and I'm not even sure why I got both of these patterns. I probably got the quick sew on sale for $1.99 and just went ahead and grabbed it. But if I do one of these, I will either do for the quick sew K3691 view B, and for the new look, which is 6344, I will do A. So, any guesses as to which one that I chose? I'll wait just like a second or two just to give you guys a chance to answer like in your heads or out loud in your homes as you're watching the video. I am going with the quick sew pattern for a couple of reasons. Actually, mainly just one reason, and that's because I've never sewn a quick sew pattern before. And I do have a few of them, maybe 5 or 6 quick sew patterns off the top of my head. I've never made any of them. So yeah, I'm gonna do view B. And I'm very excited about that. And I have 2 yards of that yellow dog fabric, and the pattern only calls for, let's see, 1 yard. Yeah, so here are the line drawings in case you're interested. So I'll have maybe enough to make another top. Maybe I could make like a cami top or some kind of a tank top out of it. I love that fabric, so I'll find something else to do with it. And before we sign off, just want to ask you guys, for those of you that do sew for guys or men regularly, do you have a favorite tried and true pattern that you use? And if so, what is it? Let me know in the comments. And also, any tips or tricks or special things to consider when you're sewing for guys rather than for yourself, or for if you're a woman, that is, or for sewing for women. Like, how does it differ? I mean, other than, of course, the obvious, like, body differences, are there any other things that you take into consideration? Not that I'm planning to make a garment for my husband, but maybe I could talk him into it. Maybe. Anyway, I'd love to hear any feedback you guys have. And as always, thank you so much for watching my videos. I greatly appreciate it. And if you feel inclined, please leave a comment, because this is way more fun when there's a two-way interaction. And that's all I have. So until next time, bye.